Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our first session in the Information and Hiring event for those navigating reentry series. Today, we'll be hearing from 4 presenters who will be conducting job seeker workshops to help familiarize you with the skills that you will need to be successful in the virtual hiring space. If you have questions at any time, please type them into the chat and we will address them during brief Q&A sessions that will be taking place after each presentation. If you have not yet already, please be sure to register for tomorrow's employer panel and breakout room session where you will have an opportunity to communicate directly with employer representatives. A link to the registration page will be provided in the chat. Please note, you will need to be sure to register for each session individually. Today's session is being recorded and will be made available on the Illinois workNet YouTube channel for you to refer to later. Now, I am pleased to introduce State Senator Patricia Van Pelt. Senator Van Pelt.
Thank you so much, Daniel. And good morning, everyone. I am Patricia Van Pelt, and I also represent the 5th Legislative District in Chicago and Illinois. I'm excited to be with you all as we go through this information and hiring event for those that are looking to re-enter society. So I want to thank all the job seekers for taking the journey along with myself and the Illinois workNet, the Department of Employment Security, and the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. Commissioner Deere is here, and also Alderman Burnett's office, all here to help you get to the next level so you can get the employment opportunities that you need, the information that you need, and the employment opportunities that you deserve. So this event is really special to me because in the most part, we find that society is not ready to give anyone a second chance, even though we've all had a second chance and a third chance and a fourth chance and a fifth chance. And we've all had a number of chances in our life, but we find that society is it's not really grasping or gravitating toward helping people get back into society. That's why this event is special to me. I know the world is not always quick to give second chances, and I know that as an individual who has also struggled with situations in my own life, how important it is for somebody to reach out and say, hey, you know what, let's do something, we can make this work. We can help you get from where you are to where you need to go. So today we have a lineup for you to help you with your resume writing and also to get you ready to get in that room with the employer. So as Daniel mentioned earlier, be sure that you register for tomorrow's event. Don't just think you registered today and that's not enough, and that's enough, because it's not enough. All right. You got to register for the event tomorrow too, because that's when you're going to come face to face with employers. Today is about helping you get prepared for that. And I'm so glad that I'm not here by myself working on helping people get to this journey. As I said, Alderman Walter Burnett and also all the other partners are here to help us. But I'm going to bring right now to you right now our very own Commissioner Dennis Deere. He has been a dynamic leader when it comes to second chance and opportunities. Dennis, Commissioner, are you there?
I am here. Thank you so much, Senator Van Pelt. And first and foremost, I want to say a huge thank you to you for your great efforts around reentry and for just being a real champion in our Illinois State Senate. You are very much appreciative, and I don't think you get the applause that you need around the work that you do. So I want to say thank you. Good morning and welcome to each and every one of you all to this reentry fair. This fair is important to me because most of my life's work has been around reentry. I'm a forensic psychologist by training, and most of my work has been helping individuals reintegrate back into their community. Born and raised in North Lawndale, where I am right now. I'm in fact getting ready to walk into a press conference to talk about some reentry related issues. And so I want to welcome each and every one of you all. And let me say this. There are 17 no's oftentimes before you get a yes, whether you got a background or not. Don't be discouraged. If you don't get a yes today, keep on at it. Guess what? If you always do what you've always done, you're going to always get what you've always got. Socrates said that. But I say, in order for you to get something you never had, you got to do something you never done. And you're doing that right here today. Thank you all for being here. And we're wishing you the best of luck. And guess what? The best person for you to gamble on and bet on is yourself. I'm betting on you as well. God bless you, and may you have great efforts on the day. Again, thank you, Senator Van Pelt. You are a rock star, and I appreciate partnering with you all the time. God bless.
Thank you, thank you. And you know what, we're gonna move right along. I'm gonna turn it back into the hands of Daniel so we can get started with this workshop. Take notes, pay attention, get everything you can get, because tomorrow when you stand before those employers, that's gonna be your chance, your opportunity to be able to shine and be the person that you truly are and get that employment that you need. So, okay, we're gonna turn it back into the hands of Daniel.
Alderman Burnett
Senator
is there.
Oh, Alderman Burnett is here. I didn't know. Okay. We definitely do not want to miss Alderman Walter Burnett. He's the Alderman of 27th Ward, and he has been a dynamic leader when it comes to reentry. He knows all about it. He's worked through it. He's helped a lot of people, including me, been a blessing to me. And I want to turn it over into his hands, and then he will turn it over into the hands of Daniel. All right, Alderman Walter Burnett, take it away.
Hey, thank you very much, Senator. First of all, I want to commend you on putting this together, giving folks an opportunity to get connected, to get jobs. You know, we just are so grateful. You know, it's unfortunate that we had the pandemic, but the good thing, every time something bad happens, something good come out of. And one of the good things that has come out of this pandemic is that so many employers are looking for people, because so many people have retired, have decided not to go to work, have decided to start their own businesses. So there's so many jobs open. And there's so many jobs open to the point where employers are like, okay, we don't care if people have a record now. We don't care about folks' background. Only thing we care about is that we have an able body to do the work. We don't care if they don't even have experience. We would train them. There are so many opportunities for people to work today. It's incredible. Matter of fact, I have employers coming to my office and saying, please, can you help us find some people to work at the airport, in the trucking business? I mean, Amazon is like, is just UPS. So many employers are looking for people to work. I think even in government now, people can't replace people because so many baby boomers, which I'm the tail end of, I have become of retirement age. And a lot of them, after staying home for the pandemic, they was like, oh, I can do this. This is comfortable. I think I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm not going back to work. And you know what? They open up a lot of opportunities. This is the first time I have corporate people. I just had a meeting with a gentleman from Fifth Third Bank. He just wrote a book about how to hire and incorporate ex-offenders into your program. You have Jamie Dimon, the president of Citibank, is telling corporate America that you need to look toward returning citizens to hire them as employees, because there is gold in those mountains, man. There's diamonds in that rough. You know, there are people who never had the opportunity to expose themselves, to connect themselves to employment, because a lot of folks have always thought that no one will hire them. Well, I'm telling you today, they will hire you. They will hire you. And a lot of them are giving, some people are giving you bonuses, signing bonuses, $3,000 if you just sign up to work with them. So this is an incredible time. People need to take advantage of it. And not even talking about how minimum wage is $15 an hour now, which equates to $30,000 a year off the top. So if the minimum that you can make is $30,000, that's cool. But guess what? People are paying $18, $20, $24 an hour for people to work. So we have no excuse. No excuse. It's consistent. You don't have to watch your back. You don't have to worry about no one messing with you. You just go to work, do your job, take care of your family, and start putting something in so you can get something out in the future. So I wish everyone luck. God bless you. Thank you, Senator Van Pelt, for putting this together. And I hope that everyone gets a job. Thank you.
Thank you so much for. Thank you so much for those. Thank you so much for those introductory remarks, Alderman Burnett, excuse me, and same to Senator Van Pelt and Commissioner Deere, much appreciated. Next up, we will have Jennifer Perez with the Illinois Department of Corrections, giving a few introductory remarks as well. Jennifer, are you available?
Good morning, everyone. hard acts to follow. We've had some stellar opening remarks and some very well-respected people and elected officials in our community here supporting you today. I just want to echo the comments that have already been made this morning and say that Illinois Department of Corrections has been working hard to help prepare people for these moments. Leaving our custody, and a big focus for us is workforce development. As the Alderman had stated, Alderman Burnett stated that the time is now for employment. The job opportunities that are available and the salaries being offered, including bonuses, these are not transitional jobs, these are careers. And we are very excited about partnering today and providing this opportunity and hoping to learn and grow from it so we can help better prepare people getting ready to acclimate back into their communities. So thank you for everyone that's here today, and best of luck. Enjoy the day. I hope you find it to be worthwhile, and make sure you don't say, hear those no's tomorrow. We want to hear lots of yeses tomorrow. And I am super excited about the event tomorrow in hopes that we can connect people with employment. So thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Jennifer. And one final thing that I would like to direct everybody's attention to before we kick things off here today. We'll pull our registration page up here on the screen. Again, just a reminder, if you have not yet registered for tomorrow's employer panel and small group discussions, please be sure to do so. I'm going to drop a link to the registration page in the chat. Again, you should have already been on this page if you are on this event now to register for this event. But again, just want to reiterate, if you have not yet registered for tomorrow's event, please do so. All you'll do is go to this page. You'll see over here off to the right-hand side, select a date. You click on that, you'll see sales have ended for today's session, but you see you can still register for tomorrow's session. So please be sure to do so before we kick things off tomorrow again at 10 a.m. Again, you'll have an opportunity to meet with employers, ask some questions that you have, and hopefully connect yourself to your next career opportunity. Momentarily here, I will drop the registration link into the chat as well. In the meantime, however, we're going to go ahead and kick off our employer workshops here. The first presenter that we do have is the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, and they will be presenting over the topic of the art of the virtual interview. I do believe we have Michael and Francisco available to present. Michael, are you available?
Oh, yes, I am. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Michael Cannon, one of the two re-entry navigators for the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. The Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership is the public workforce system in Chicago and suburban Cook County. We operate, as I said, in Chicago and suburban Cook County. We have a network of 91 delegate agencies, American job centers, satellite sites, and sector-driven centers. We have over 100 locations providing services to more than 140,000 people. On behalf of the partnership, we would like to thank you, Senator Van Pelt, Alderman Burnett, commissioners, everyone. We'd like to thank you for the work you do and the shared interest your organizations have in trying to make a better re-entry system for Cook County and the state of Illinois. This information and hiring event and job seeker workshops is yet another collective effort to assist returning residents with securing employment, which is absolutely vital to a successful re-entry. So we thank all of the job seekers who are participating today, and we hope that you will find the information that we provide helpful in your quest to secure a job. The job seeker workshops today are designed to help effectively guide you through today's job market. During this pandemic, many job interviews are conducted virtually, and securing employment begins with an effective virtual job interview. Mr. Perez will walk you through the art of the virtual interview to prepare you for an effective interview that is intended to help guide you successfully to successfully secure employment and achieve a successful re-entry. I wish you well, and Mr. Perez, if you will.
Thank you, Mr. Cannon. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Can everybody hear me okay? Sorry, we're getting an echo.
Yeah, Francisco, a little bit of a echo there. Perhaps if you can turn down the volume on your computer speakers, that might help a little bit. Once you've done so, let me know, and we'll go ahead and test that out real quick.
Okay.
That's better. Yep.
Okay, well, thank you, everybody. Michael gave everybody our introduction, so I'll go ahead and get started. This is the art of the virtual interview. Interviewing is probably one of the most nerve-wracking activities a candidate and hiring manager can do. Most people aren't professional interviewers or professional interviewees. So outlined today, we have a path to success that you can and will succeed in the virtual interview process. Having a virtual interview means a few things. You're going to need to be able to make a strong first impression. You're going to need to be able to sell your skills, show you're the right person for the job, and have a good personality and perspective when interviewing. Keep in mind a few things. People hire people they like, and that one that gets hired is not the most qualified, but usually the one that interviews the best. Yes, I see somebody put something in the chat. Hopefully the echo stops. If that's good. We can go to the next slide now.
This is important. If I may add, this is important to emphasize. I like to emphasize this. As Mr. Perez correctly pointed out, I would like for all you all to know that people hire who they like. And oftentimes the one who gets hired is not necessarily the one who is most qualified, but the one who interviews the best. And one thing I would add, I would like to just add that in selling your skills, be very confident when you communicate this. You know, you're a hard worker, you're dependable, you're on time all the time. You work well by yourself with a team. Be confident when you communicate these things. And lastly, you want to let the prospective employer know with confidence that you are the type of worker who will get the job done as required. Get that across to them, that you are the one who will get the job done no matter what. And so if you
We can move to the next slide. Okay, here are a few things that you might want to consider when you're applying in today's market. Most applications will ask you for the cell phone number and your email address in the contact information section. In most cases, this is so they can notify you of their interest in interviewing you for the position, which usually happens via cell, text, or email. The notification for your virtual interview will come as a message or email from the employer. The message should obtain the date and time of the interview and meeting link. The meeting link is what you will use to sign into your virtual interview when the time comes. We can go to the next slide. The notification for your virtual interview will come as a message or email from the employer. The message or email should obtain the date and time, the interview, and a meeting link. The meeting link is what will give you the option to sign into your virtual interview when the time comes. Next slide, please.
I would just like to add a couple of things to what Mr. Perez said. So in doing this, be sure that after you file your online application, that you closely monitor your email and texts for the notification of their interest in interviewing you for the position. You don't want them to send you the email or the notification and you miss it. And lastly, I'd like to emphasize that you make sure that you make note of how the virtual interview will be conducted, because usually it will be either by Zoom or by Microsoft Teams. So make sure that you have the Zoom app and the Microsoft Teams app uploaded onto your device beforehand to make sure that you know how to operate. Next.
We'll go to the next slide. Okay, this section is called visualization. Visualization of success in an interview is one of the best ways to ace an interview. Your mind doesn't know the difference between reality and imagination. Visualization is a tool that will allow you to picture success in your mind and picture yourself doing well during the interview. It's a mental rehearsal for the interview before you actually go to the interview. There's things that you should think about. How you'll handle yourself when you meet the first interviewer, which means, pay attention to what you look like. Make sure you have your verbiage together. You want to speak properly and take some time to practice before you go into the interview and make yourself feel a little more secure. You need to worry about focusing on breathing, so you don't go in there and you're worried about, sounding too fast or too slow. Seeing yourself offering solutions for the interview, so prepare yourself for questions that the interviewer might want, that you think the interviewer might ask you, picture yourself, I guess, winning the interview. Picture yourself, when you wake up in the morning, you're getting ready to go into your interview, imagine yourself succeeding in the process. So when you get there, you just, try to put everything that you focused on the night before into play. And we can go into the next slide.
And again, I would just say that be confident in yourself, that know that anything that you can conceive and perceive, you can achieve. It can be done. Know that a winning interview, it begins with belief in yourself and letting that confidence shine through for that interviewer and for the whole world to see. So go in there confident. Go in there confident, know that you're going to win that interview. And like I said, it begins with yourself. So with that said, let's move on to the next slide.
Okay. All right, this is a little section that I put together. It's called Dress the Part. So before you sing a single word to an interviewer, you've already made an impression based on how you're dressed. The guidelines given here are commonly accepted as appropriate for interviewing. Every company has a different dress code. How you dress at the job may have very little to do with how you dress for your interview. Next slide, please. Okay, this is kind of what I threw together to show everybody, how you want to dress, both male and female. There's things you want to think about, and I kind of put them together and for everybody so I can make an example. Like if you look to the left of the male side, it says neat and clean, and then long hair. So obviously you want to make sure that you have a decent haircut. You want to make sure you have on long sleeve shirt. You want to be tucked in, dress pants. And some of this stuff doesn't apply to virtual interviews because obviously they only see us from the waist up. So, you might be able to get away with wearing sweatpants, but you want to look from at least the bottom half up. You want to have on a tie and you want to be groomed and ready for the interview. And then if you look on the right side with the women, I have the same thing. You can look, and those are examples of how you would want to dress for an interview and how you wouldn't want to dress for an interview. So just take some thought about that and remember where you're working at. I know the world's a different place now. So, there are plenty of businesses and, people who work in offices who have tattoos and stuff, but there's the right place and the right time to show your tattoos. And then there's a right place and a right time not to. We can go to the next slide. Okay, during the virtual interview, there's a few things that I wanted to point out and I wanted everybody to take notice in. You need to be a good listener, and which means pay attention to when the interviewer is talking to you. Make sure you don't overtalk them. And that's simple with that. And then the next one is talk about successful moments. Think about past jobs that you've had, good things that happened on a job. Maybe you were at work and a lady dropped her purse and you picked it up and you brought it back to her. Those are good moments, successful moments. Times they gave you a project and you met the deadline and you succeeded with your, with the task that was given to you. Those are moments. So try to talk about successful moments when you're talking to your interviewer. And then the next one is sell yourself. You know yourself better than anybody. So you should be able to sell yourself better than anybody. You know what your strengths are. Stay away from your weaknesses. Don't, promise something you can do that you can't do. Just keep it clean and, tell them about yourself. Tell them about the things you've done. Tell them about, if you don't have too much of a work experience, If you spend time at a church and you volunteer to help paint, and the pastor, let you come help people go home after church, those are times that you can bring up as well, and ways to say yourself, because those are things that you've done for the community and some type of work experience. So have your own questions would be the next one. Nobody just wants somebody to sit there and be a robot. So if during the interview, when they speak to you and they're done, asking you questions, make sure to have your own questions, questions you want to ask them about their company, their company's culture. So that way, in the long run, you can ask yourself, is this the type of business and culture that I want to work for? And is this a place that I could see myself? Do your homework about the company the night before. Take a little while to Google the company, find out who the lead people are in the company, what it is they do, what their mission statement is. So just try your hardest to make sure you know as much as you can about the company and prepare yourself. One of the things I do is try to make a personal connection with the interview or the interviewees. The interviewer or interviewees, when they talk to you, through conversation, people will tell you a lot about themselves. If you listen and you try to pick up on the key points, you might find that you have a lot in common with the person that's interviewing you, or one of the persons interviewing you, because nowadays, sometimes you might have an interview and there'll be 3 people interviewing you instead of just one person. So something you might want to prepare yourself for. When you close your interview, close positively. Close with good words. Thank everybody. Let them know you appreciate their time and their interest in you. And just try to close on a positive note. If you're hired on the spot, you want to ask, what are the next steps? Who do I call? When should I be, when do you think I'll hear from you guys again? And then make sure to get the hiring manager or the interviewer's information, their email and their contact information. So that way, if they don't call you, or if they haven't called by the time they said they would, that you can follow up. If you really want something, my advice is you keep trying for it. So make sure you get their information. So if they don't call you, you call them and you let them know that you have interest in their job. I think Michael wants to say a few things.
And I just, I would like to say, just put a little emphasis on what Frankie said. Be well informed about the company, the job position that you're applying for, and know what they're offering, what their hiring packages, their benefits, most importantly, what you need to ask yourself is if you're comfortable with the wage for the job position you are applying for, and if it is enough to sustain your needs from paycheck to paycheck. These are very real concerns you need to consider that will affect your life significantly. Always know your value and your needs to make the smart decision based upon that. And before I close, I just want to say something that Walter Burnett said about, and a few others said.
And just an FYI, Michael, you have been muted. You'll want to unmute yourself to be able to speak once more. And Michael, just an FYI, you've been muted, so you'll need to unmute yourself. Francisco, perhaps maybe you can unmute yourself. I think you both are in the same room.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute.
There you go, Michael. Yep, go ahead.
I would like to say that, just emphasizing what Frankie said, I'm sorry. Be well informed about the company, the job position you are applying for, and what they are offering with the hiring packages, the benefits, what they have to offer. Know that. And most importantly, what you need to ask yourself is if you are comfortable with the wage for the job position you are applying for, and if it is enough to sustain your needs from paycheck to paycheck. These are very real concerns. You need to consider that you need to consider that will affect your life significantly. And always know your value and your needs and make the smart decision based upon that. And before I close, I'd just like to make a comment on what the Alderman Walter Burnett, Jennifer Perez, and a few the senator said about second chances and good jobs. Well, I'm Michael Cannon. Again, I served 29 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections. I am a returning resident, as is Francisco. The Chicago Workforce Partnership is the public workforce system for Chicago, Cook County, and it is the largest in the nation. So don't sell yourself short. Know your value, and we wish you all luck tomorrow. And with that, thank you all so much.
You can move to the next slide.
Francisco, you'll want to be sure to unmute yourself now to be able to give any closing remarks you'd like to make.
I'm sorry, I think Daniel, I have one or two more slides to go through real quick. You can move to the next one. Okay, I just wanted, that thank you, Michael, for closing out your section. These are just a few questions that when you're done with your interview that I think you should go home asking yourself, and in the process of waiting for them to give you a call back, or just when you get a little time after the interview. Again, make sure that the company and the culture are right for you, that it's the place that you like to work for. Make sure the position fits your skill set and strengths. And then ask yourself, are you able to perform the job description? And do you feel good about the position and the job that's offered for you? Next slide. All right. I just wanted to let everybody know again, Michael closed out. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, the senators, the aldermen, Jennifer. It's been a privilege working with everybody. I've had a chance to meet a few people outside of this, so thank you. As Mike said, we have some lived experience. So everybody on here that is searching for work, please, go in there tomorrow, get as much information as you can. This is a chance for you to receive information and resources that a lot of people, it passes them by because they don't get an opportunity to have the information emailed to them. They just, aren't in the loop with certain things. These are all great companies, great employers. Make sure you get the information that you can, write down as much as you can, and just let everybody when you get the opportunity, follow up with these people. Because now, since I've got into the reentry field over the last couple of years, reentry's been on the forefront. And there's more people hiring now than ever. I think Alderman Burnett said it the best in his statements, was everybody's hiring. Jeffrey Kowarsnik, the guy that he was speaking about that wrote the book, we just had a hiring event, and he was part of our hiring event. He was actually one of the main speakers. And yes, we are one of the largest voting blocks as returning citizens. There's work for everybody. You just need to apply yourself and get out there and put your first foot forward and, try to succeed, and don't let anybody tell you that you can't, because sitting here is living proof. Me and Michael are both, returning citizens, and we've had a chance to change our life. So I just want to see more like us, employed and working and being able to take care of their family without having to take risks and look over their shoulders. So you guys have a great day. Thank you from the partnership, and Daniel, everybody, thank you for allowing us to give this presentation. And we're sorry about the echoes and the little messing up at the beginning, but you guys have a great day.
Excellent. Thank you so much to Francisco and Michael for your presentation. Lots of great information that was covered there. Again, if you have any questions for Michael or Francisco that are related to the presentation,
and his name is Jeffrey Kowarsnik. So
can you throw that in the chat?
If there's any questions right now, you guys can please feel free to ask, and I'll answer them right now.
Can you throw that the name of that author into the chat, Francisco, for folks?
Thank you, guys. Thank you for that, because we did have a rough start. And I don't have the exact name of the book, but give me a couple seconds and I'll put it in the chat box for you. Okay, the last one I saw was, let's see here. I can answer that one. Okay, you're looking for work in the accounting area? You have to read yours. You're putting, see here. Yes, this is all type for backgrounds, and the person looking for work in the accounting area, I'm gonna type in my email, and if you want to, please contact me, and I'll see if we can find something in that field, or maybe point you in the right direction to somebody who is hiring for that type of work. So Michael, if you want to, you can go into the chats right now, put our information, and let them know to give us a contact. You can also put our work numbers. Okay, for the gentleman, yes, well, first, yes, this is for all type of backgrounds. Anybody, everybody that we deal with are returning citizens, and all the employers that we deal with are people that hire returning citizens. So yeah, any background is okay. The person that was just laid off due to laid off due to their background, which was 5 years ago. Please go into the chat, do me a favor and email me or contact me and Michael, and we can talk to you about that. But if you don't have work right now, please contact us and we will point you in the right direction. And I can actually sit down and help you create a pathway to find whatever type of employment it is that you need. You know, once we can sit down and assess you and find out what skills you have, your skill set, what you've done before, we will yeah, we'll be able to find you something. I don't see no reason why we're not. And if there's some, you need to go to work right now and you're just, you know, pressed for money and it's hard to find something, contact me, because between me and Michael, we both usually have a slew of jobs that we can put you at like immediately. So please contact us. IT and project management positions. Please, you know, go on our website. We're always hiring at the partnership for project management is a great skill. Look on our website, and then if you can't find anything there, contact us and we'll give you, you know, I'll help you out with a couple places you can look for work for that type of skill set. You can talk on mine if you need to.
Just keep in mind that we have 91 delegate agencies around the city for to service the entire city in suburban the suburbs. So feel free to get with Frankie or I on any of those issues. Let us know what geographical area you are going to, and we can point you to the agency that's nearest you.
Great point. Great point. Again, like Michael said, 91 delegate agencies at over 100 locations. And we service over 140,000 people a year and 1,000 businesses. So there's plenty of places we can point you to. We have a bunch of great programs called WIOA. As soon as, let me type in my information here, and I'll put my email for anybody that needs those type of resources or maybe wants to get into WIOA. That's the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act grant that we have. Contact us. We can help you out. Again, me and Michael have a program called The Road Home that the partnership we created with the partnership and the reentry team, and we're going to be doing a lot of work with returning residents. So contact us. I'm going to put my email inside the chat right now and my personal phone number. So anybody who wants to contact me, please, my phone is always on.
Excellent. Thank you, Francisco, and thank you, Michael. And again, once they, you know, provide their contact information, if you do have any questions that weren't quite answered through the chat here today, feel free to reach out to those folks, and I'm sure they would be more than happy to help kind of guide you and assist you in your journey. Francisco and Michael, are there any kind of final remarks that you'd like to make? And Francisco or Michael, are there any final remarks that you'd like to make before we move to our next presentation?
I forgot to put my number.
Not sure if you're having audio difficulties, but Francisco, is there any
Yeah,
final?
that's my email. That's my number. You can also reach us at shycookworks.org. You can look over here. These are our links. Please feel free to contact us. Again, thank you for everybody listening in. And again, if there's any information or resources you need help with as far as employment and you're a returning resident or you have a felony background, please feel free to contact us. Everybody have a great day. Daniel, I think I'm done. If there's no more questions.
Thank
And
you,
I'll go through the
Francisco.
chats again to make sure I answered all the questions. So if there's anything that wasn't answered, I'll reply directly to it. But again, if you need to contact any one of us, please feel free to.
Thank you so much to Francisco and to Michael for your presentation here today. Next up, we'll have the Illinois Department of Employment Security. We do have Rodney States with us to present today regarding employment incentives and resources to aid in your job search. Rodney, are you available to present, sir?
Yes.
Excellent. You can begin whenever you're ready.
All righty. Thank you. And thank you guys for having us. My name is Rodney States in the Illinois Department of Employment Security.
Hello.
And Rodney, I think you got muted there real briefly. If you can unmute yourself once more. And Michael, you'll want to be sure to keep yourself muted, please. Thank you.
Okay. I want to discuss a couple of things with you guys today, some tools and aids for your job search. So next slide, please. And we're going to discuss Ban the Box, what it is and how it actually can assist you in your job search, the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, the Federal Fidelity Bonding Program, as well as IllinoisJoblink.com, which is State of Illinois' version of Career Builder, Indeed. It's a labor exchange system that is pretty effective in placing, well, not placing, but matching job seekers with employment opportunities. Next slide, please. Okay, Ban the Box. What do you need to know? The Illinois Ban the Box policy prohibits employers from asking applicants about their criminal history on the initial job application. A lot of times what was happening with people is they were completing the application and they had great skills, but then that question came up, do you have a criminal background? And they would answer that question, and employers would sometimes decide not to pursue or go forward with that person because they had that criminal background. Well, in 2015, Illinois passed a law that says employers can no longer ask you that question on the initial application, which actually helps employers to actually get qualified employees because they're not stigmatizing and missing out on great quality employees because of the stigma that this person has a criminal background. Now, it does not deny the employer the right to conduct a background check, but what it does is that background check and that information is done after you actually start the employment process as far as interviewing and things like that. So yes, they're still going to possibly conduct a background check, but you have the opportunity to kind of get in there and go in there and kind of sell yourself to that employer and see what type of quality candidate that he or she has in front of him or her, and can make a really quality decision just based on your actual work history as opposed to the fact that you have a criminal background. Employers can inquire about your background history in the interview and as a condition of an employment offer, but not just in that initial application process, which can definitely assist you because now, like I said, you get the opportunity to really go in there and sell yourself, and employers looking at you and not some type of imaginary person that they think you may be because you actually have a criminal background. Now, there are some instances where this law does not apply. And usually those instances are when an employer is required by state or federal law to exclude applicants with certain convictions, or if an employer employs individuals licensed under the Emergency Medical Services Systems Act, or applicants that are convicted, that have convictions that disqualify the applicant from obtaining a required standard fidelity or equivalent bond. Now, there are some employers that unfortunately you may run into some places where employers have not taken that information off their application. If you do run into that circumstance, there is a mechanism where you can file a complaint with the Illinois Department of Labor, and that application or that complaint form is actually on the Illinois Department of Labor's website, and they will investigate and enforce compliance. And there are some monetary penalties for employers that violate this law. So the state takes it very seriously. So if you do encounter something like that, definitely report that employer to the Illinois Department of Labor, because they should not be asking that question on their application anymore in most circumstances. And next slide. The work opportunity tax credit, and everything we're going to talk about today kind of works together, kind of goes together. I like to say it's like kind of like building a house. You need a bunch of different tools to kind of build your house, and everything we're going to kind of talk about today kind of all works together. So the work opportunity tax credit is a federal tax credit available to employers who hire and retain individuals from specific target groups that consistently have faced barriers to securing employment. Next slide. Now, there are 10 target groups currently that qualify for some form of tax credit, and the tax credit differ depending on what category you fall into. The first category is the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, which is TANF. Anybody receiving TANF benefits for a period of time, the employer may qualify for a tax credit for hiring that individual. Qualified veterans, people with criminal backgrounds, designated community areas, vocational rehabilitation referrals, summer youth employment, supplemental nutrition assistance program, i.e. SNAP, the Social Security income, SSI, and long-term family assistance and qualified long-term unemployed individuals. Now, I'm sure some of you have seen applications where employers will ask you if you are receiving SNAP food stamps or TANF cash. And a lot of times I've seen, and I've talked to people that said that they don't like answering those questions because they think the employer is going to in some way discriminate or look down on them for actually needing assistance. When in actuality, that employer may be asking that question. It's probably asking that question because they're seeing if they can qualify or for this tax credit, which may be something that if you have two employees that they're kind of looking at on even footing, and they can receive a tax credit for hiring someone because they're receiving TANF or SNAP food stamp benefits, that may be something that an employer kind of looks at, and that may be kind of the deciding factor that an employer decide, okay, I'm going to give this person an opportunity as opposed to someone else. So whenever you see that question on an application, you definitely want to answer that question truthfully, because that may be the difference in that employer making that final decision as to if they're going to bring you on or bring someone else on. So it's definitely a viable question that you want to make sure you want to answer. Next slide, please. And as you can see, the tax credits range from $2,400 all the way up to $9,600. Most of the tax credits that for regular employees are around the $2,400 range. Now, you will see there are some tax credits at the higher end are more for veterans or for people that have been receiving TANF long term. But most of the qualified, like the one for returning citizens, is $2,400. The one for SNAP recipients is $2,400. Once you get into the veterans, they start to kind of differ between $2,400 and $9,600. But that's the going range from $2,400 to $9,600. And employers are definitely looking at these incentives. I've seen some employers that will literally hire folks, because I'm getting I'm getting a qualified candidate, but I'm also getting this tax credit. So I'm saving myself some money on the back end. So it's a win-win situation for that employer. So you want to make sure you make yourself as familiar with these tax credits as humanly possible. And you can go to our website, ids.illinois.gov, to get the actual breakdown of each tax credit and how you would qualify or not qualify for that particular tax credit. Next slide, please. The Federal Fidelity Bonding Program. This is an absolutely wonderful program. The Federal Fidelity Bonding Program was established to provide fidelity bonds for at-risk, hard-to-place job seekers. A federal fidelity bond is an insurance policy for the employer that protects specifically against financial loss due to fraud or theft. The great thing about the federal fidelity bond is it is no cost to the employer or the job seeker. The bonds range in value from $1,000 to a maximum of $5,000 with no deductible for the employer. The great thing about this bond is the employer contacts us and says, hey, I want to hire Rodney States and I want to get him a start date of December 15th. And I want to get him bonded from that date. And we'll do the paperwork, we'll do the entire process for the employer and get that person bonded for a maximum of $5,000 for 6 months. Now, if that employer, after that first 6 months, has passed and the employer wants to get the employee bonded for a second 6 months, he or she can get the person bonded for a second 6 months at no cost to the employer. And it's for public as well as private companies. The only caveat to this program is the employer, upon applying for the bond, they have to have a firm start date for that employee. Now, the employee himself or herself, they don't do anything except, they may tell the employer about the Federal Fidelity Bonding Program, but the actual process of the employer getting the bond, the employer will request the bond himself from IDES. Our bond coordinator will work with that employer, get that person bonded. It's a done deal. And now that person's bonded for 6 months, which in actuality, they can do it for up to a year. So you really can look at it as 2 6-month bonds if that employer so chooses to do so. I've seen this program work where I've seen employers literally make the final decision because they can get this person bonded, because they had some apprehension because the person may have had some challenges in their background. Next slide, please. Now, who actually qualifies for the Federal Fidelity Bonding Program? Any justice-involved citizen, any individual in recovery from substance abuse disorders, any individual with poor or a bad credit, any economically disadvantaged youth or adult with limited work histories, and individuals that have been dishonorably discharged from the military. Now, you may ask yourself, why is it limited to these groups? Well, these groups tend to, for whatever reason, have a more difficult time in securing employment because employers now are doing credit histories. Employers, of course, are doing background checks. Employers, of course, will look at a person that has been dishonorably discharged from the military and may think that there's an issue with that person. So this bond is kind of set up for these individuals just to kind of give the employer an extra boost. Say, hey, no, this person, give this guy, give this young lady an opportunity. And if you do incur some type of loss because of theft or dishonesty, you can recoup some of your money back from this bond. Which, like I said, I've seen employers really make that decision to hire the person based on first the tax credit, because remember we're talking about how all this stuff goes together. The employer can get that tax credit, and they also can get this person bonded. Now, all of a sudden, that employer may be looking at this person that may have a little bit of a criminal background. They may say, okay, you know what? Let me give Rodney a second and third look, because I have this tax credit I can get for Rodney, but I also have this bond that is a little bit of security blanket for me, that if something does go wrong and he commits theft or some type of fraud, I can recoup some of my money. So see how those two programs kind of work together for a person that has some type of justice background. And I encourage everyone to go to our website, ides.illinois.gov, and really get some in-depth information on the work opportunity tax credit, as well as the federal Fidelity Bond, because those two things can definitely work hand in hand and assist a job seeker in that process. Because like I said earlier, every tool in your tool belt is going to help you build that house. And ultimately, building that house is actually finding that employment opportunity. So definitely make sure you guys go and take a look at these two sites. Now, next slide, please. How to obtain a Fidelity Bond. The employer must provide an offer of employment. Remember, I told you guys earlier, there has to be a firm offer of employment from that employer with a start date, because the way the bond is written, they write the bond up from the actual start date of the employee. So the employee is covered from day one, even if the employer does not have the actual bond certificate in his or her hand, because they gave us that firm start date. When we do the actual bond certification, we put that start date in. So if anything happens before the employer gets that bond into their hand, they still can file their claim. A federal Fidelity Bond can be requested for any qualified person. Any job at any employer in any state can be covered by the bond. This is not just specifically for Illinois. The federal Fidelity Bonding Program is for all 50 states. So any employer can apply for a bond for any employee nationwide. You can go to the IDES website, where the employer can go to the IDES website and complete the federal Fidelity Bonding certification form, or contact the state's bonding coordinator, Mr. Patrick Durkin, super nice guy, and he will get the process and get the ball rolling and get that employer bonded, get that employee bonded for that employer. One thing that I need my job seekers to understand and to know: you cannot get yourself bonded. The employer is the one that actually gets you bonded once he or she has decided they're going to hire you and have an actual firm start date. So there's nothing for our job seekers to actually take to the employer besides the information that they know about the bond itself. So just remember that you yourself cannot get bonded. The employer must get you bonded. Next slide. Illinois Joblink. And I know I might be going a little fast, ladies and gentlemen, but I am going to have a Q&A session, and I'm also going to provide my email address. So if you guys have more in-depth questions, I can kind of go a little bit more in depth, because it is a lot of information, and I want to make sure that we remain within our time window, and give other speakers an opportunity to really tell you about their great information also. Illinois Joblink, IllinoisJoblink.com. Like I said earlier, Illinois Joblink is the state of Illinois' version of employment search engine. It's a great website. What you would do is you go to IllinoisJoblink.com and actually register and start you an account. Answer all the questions in the demographics section. The system also has a mechanism that allows you to either upload your resume. It has to be in Word format, because the system doesn't accept PDFs, or there's a mechanism where you can actually build a resume itself on the system, on an Insight resume building part that we actually have. I encourage everyone, whether you're employed full-time, part-time, not employed at all, if you're looking for another employment opportunity, a series of other employment opportunities, Illinois Joblink is a great site. We have a staff dedicated to actually going and putting job orders in the system on a daily basis. So you may go on Illinois Joblink today and see 1 or 2 jobs that interest you. You may go in there tomorrow and see 20 or 30 jobs that interest you, because we are constantly reaching out to employers and asking them to post their job orders in the system. And they are definitely doing that, especially now, because so many employers are looking for qualified candidates. And Illinois Joblink is a great way for them to kind of go in there and pull out candidates, because if you make your resume open or viable, then employers can actually go in and look at your resume and make a decision if they want to bring you in for an interview, or sit down with you and talk to you about the employment opportunities they may have available. So like I said, the first thing you want to do is you want to go in there and actually register and set your profile up, answer all your demographic information within Illinois Joblink itself. Then you can go in and actually upload your resume, as long as it's in Word format, or use the system itself to build a resume within the system. The system saves your resume, but you have to go in there every 90 days just to update it and just to update the date. But the system will keep your resume, and you can post as many resumes as you like. So you don't have to go in there and just use our resume or use your resume. If you want to use a variety, or post 3 or 4 different resumes, you're definitely more than welcome. Postings are definitely added. Postings are added daily. So like I said, you may go in there today and see 1 or 2 jobs that interest you. But then you may go in there tomorrow and see 10, 15, 20, or 30 jobs. The job search mechanism within Illinois Joblink itself is relatively simple. You basically put in the type of job you're looking for, the job title. You can put your zip code in and put the radius that you want the job to search to actually do. So put your zip code in, put a 15-mile radius, and you're looking for a customer service rep. It'll give you all our listings of customer service reps within a 15-mile radius of your zip code. You go in there and click on the position itself, gives you the information how to apply for the position, apply for the zip position, and wait for the employer to give you a call back. Really, really, really good site. I think it's definitely a good tool for anybody that's looking, like I said, to change jobs, looking for a new job, looking for a second job. Really, really, really good site with some great employers on there. And I always tell people we have positions paying everything from minimum wage on up. So there's something in there for everyone. So definitely kind of go on to Illinois Joblink and sign up and use that as one of your other tools in your search. We definitely encourage that. Next slide. Like I said, for more in-depth information and more information about the services and the different things we have available to our job seekers, we definitely encourage you to go to ides.illinois.gov and just kind of look around the site. And like I said, you'll get more in-depth information on the Work Opportunity Tax Credit, the Federal Fidelity Bonding Program, information about Ban the Box, as well as information about Illinois Joblink and any other things that we have going on with IDS. So definitely take a look at our website and get some of this great valuable information. Next slide. Questions. I want to take some time for you guys that if you want to have any questions. So if you guys have any questions, definitely let's go.
So about the federal bond,
Mm-hmm.
You said an employer must get you bonded, but we still have to go to IDES and go through the certification.
No, sir. What's going to happen? What you want to do is for you just want to have the information itself, and you may be in an interview and be talking to the employer, say, hey, there's an insurance program available, the Federal Fidelity Bonding Program, and you may want to provide some more information to the employer and let them know about it. But the employer his or herself will actually contact us and do the actual request for the certification. Only thing that you want to do is have the knowledge of that program is available, because a lot of employers don't know about the program.
Right.
And it's also one of those things where an employer says, hey, this lady's doing it. They're doing their homework. So they're serious about finding this new employment opportunity. So no, it's on you to just kind of inform the employer about it, but there's nothing for you to actually physically take to the employer. The employer has to make the request. And that's why I said earlier, you don't get bonded. The employer actually is the one that wants to get you bonded. So this, in this
So
case,
we should forward that name to him. That was at the bottom of the slide, the Patrick Durkin.
Correct. Or you can refer him to our website, ids.illinois.gov, and in the search, put in Federal Fidelity Bond, and it will provide all the information, how to contact us, a little bit more of an overview of the program, but it also will have Mr. Durkin's contact information in there also. Correct.
Okay. All right, I appreciate it. Now, how would, another question is, how would I, know that I qualify for that?
For the Federal Fidelity Bonding Program?
Right.
As long as you fall in one of the target categories, you have a criminal background, you have limited to no work history, you have a poor credit history, disarmed or discharged in the military, any of those categories, you will be 99.9% certain you would qualify. But like I said, you can go to our site and it gives you a little bit more defined definitions of the different people who qualify, whatever. But like I said, if you have any type of criminal background whatsoever, you definitely would qualify.
And you also mentioned the limited work history,
Yes, correct. Limited work history, individuals in recovery from substance abuse disorders, people with limited work histories, people from economic disadvantaged neighborhoods, because you'll be amazed that some employers won't hire you because you never had a job.
Right.
So yeah, all those categories definitely would allow you the employer to get you bonded.
Okay. That sounds like a great program.
It absolutely is, and like I said, I've seen employers make that final decision based on the fact that they could get that individual bonded. So it definitely works.
Okay, that sounds good.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when filling out applications online, you don't get the opportunity to speak to someone, but yet they ask you about, say for me, my credit. They want to do a credit history on you basically. And it seems to me that can prevent you from getting to the next step. Is there any way around that process for like this bonding opportunity?
With applying online, like I said, because you're really not talking to anybody.
Yes.
Fortunately, there's no way to kind of get them to say, hey, you can get me bonded because you're not really speaking to anybody. So yeah, that's kind of a catch-22 because you really can't catch them and say, hey, look at this bonding program, because we also don't really know, as far as when they do run your credit, what they're actually looking for, because they may be looking for specific things in your credit history. So, but yeah, unfortunately, when you're doing it online, there's really no mechanism for you to kind of let them know about the bonding program, unfortunately.
Okay.
Hello.
Yes.
My question is, I want to do CDL training. I was told something about some kind of grant or something, and I can go online to the training. I tried to do that earlier, but no success. Do you know when the training will be? I guess this training schedule will go back up, I would suppose.
Now that I'm not sure what training schedule you're speaking of. Now the WIOA program, the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, that program could possibly assist and CDL paying for CDL training, but I'm not sure what
You said, go ahead.
But I do know our previous speakers had some information about the WIOA program, and if you want some information about the WIOA program, you can definitely shoot me an email. I'll put my email in the chat, and you can shoot me an email, and I'll give you some more information about the WIOA program also. Okay.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.
Hi, Rodney.
Mhm.
My name is Sheila Townsend. I've been using the IDES website, the Joblink website. I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
started. I've been using it for about a month now,
Okay.
and someone from IDES told me that I had 3 accounts,
3 accounts.
and that they would be merged. And I've been putting information in different different places, but the merge has not taken place yet. And they said
Okay.
it would happen over the weekend. I think 3 weekends have gone by. So I don't know if there's a way to get that done.
What you can do, Miss Townsend, is like I said, I'm gonna put my email address in the chat and shoot me an email, and I'll look into that for you and get that taken care of. Yeah, because sometimes that happens where people will have multiple IGL accounts. They may have opened one up and forgot they opened one up, and you know, they may have 2 or 3 accounts, and yeah, we can merge them together and get everything under one accord. But yeah, shoot me an email, and we'll get that taken care of for you.
Yeah, and I kind of want to know if it's set up correctly and if everything is set up correctly, because I did post my resume,
Okay.
but I don't see it when I look in there. So I
You
don't.
actually look in there? Yeah, it may be in one of the other 2 ones that you have. But no, when we speak, I'll take a look at it, see what's there, and once we get it merged and everything, we'll get it squared away and get your resume to the correct one, so employers can actually see your great resume. Okay.
Okay, I appreciate it. I'll
Oh,
look for
no
your
problem.
email. I'll look for your email address.
Okay.
Hey, Rodney, I have a question. You mentioned that the employers are able to post on the IDS website. Is
On
there,
the on the Illinois Joblink site, yes.
yes, is there a cost associated with the employer being able to do that?
That is one of the absolute great things about Illinois Joblink. It is free to both the employer as well as the job seeker. And that's one of the things that employers like best about our Illinois Joblink. It's free. And we'll go so far as to set their account up for them, as well as upload whatever job leads or job positions they have to post. So we make it very user friendly.
Okay,
For
and would
the
I have to
employer.
get in contact with you for that information to do so?
Yes, you can get in contact with me, and we can get that information posted on my job. Like, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
You are more than welcome. And I think my colleague, Mr. Duckett, just sent you guys my email address. It's rodney.states@illinois.gov. Yes, that's correct. Rodney.states@illinois.gov. And definitely give me a call. I'm sorry, definitely shoot me an email, and we'll get everyone squared away.
Hello? Hi.
Hello.
Hi, I have a question. Sorry, Rodney. I just wanted to know, how do you navigate the whole job search on IDES? I've tried several, like, just to kind of, I just feel like it's like the interface itself, you don't really know whether it's generating like, I just don't know if I am getting the right I don't know if I'm talking to the right person, the right employer, and as far as looking for jobs itself, I just don't
Okay.
know where I am, I guess, on the site itself, and how to actually get my resume on the site itself.
Okay. Yeah, I could go into 2 hours about how to actually job search on Joblink. It's not one thing you want to do is once your profile is actually set up, and your resume, and you have an active current resume on the system. Once you log in, you can go over to my homepage, and if you click on job search, and you really just put in the type of job you're looking for, in the what box, the where box, you put your zip code in, and then you put the distance you're willing to travel, and it'll give you all the job leads within that geographical range of the zip code that you put in. So, but if you need more assistance and want a little bit more help walking you through it, you definitely can shoot me an email and I'll schedule a time and kind of walk you through the entire process. And once you kind of use it that first time and upload your resume that first time, it's really becomes really easy to search and upload. But I know that first couple of times it may be a little intimidating or maybe a little confusing. So, but yeah, you definitely can reach out to me and I'll kind of walk you through that first process.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And thank you, Rodney, for your presentation. And thank you so much for fielding all of these questions for the folks here today. Unfortunately, we have to make sure that we still allow time for our final two presenters to be able to present the wonderful information that they've got available too. So we will be moving to our next presentation. But again, thank you so much for that, Rodney. And again, I know Rodney's contact information, email has been provided for in the chat. So if there's any questions that you do have related to obviously IDES, but more specifically kind of to the reentry portion of the presentation that was provided by Rodney, feel free to reach out. Thank you so much, Rodney, much appreciated.
And thank you, Daniel, because I'll talk all day, so thank you.
No, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Excellent. Thank you so much again, Rodney. Our next presenter is going to be actually Stephen, I do believe, with the SBA. He is going to give an overview of programs and services available to assist small businesses. So Stephen, are you available to present, sir?
Yes, I am. I'm here. Can everybody hear me?
Loud and clear, sir. Go ahead and navigate to your slide.
All right, very good. All right, first of all, I want to thank you for inviting us to present today to give you an idea of how the Small Business Administration works and how the Small Business Administration can play a role in working to help you find employment and produce and contribute to the overall economy. Begin with a couple of statistics from the Census Bureau about the state of Illinois. The state of Illinois, there are 1,300,000 businesses operating in the state. And of that 1,300,000, 1,200,000 of them are small businesses as defined by the Small Business Administration's regulations. And another Census Bureau figure is that the labor force within the state is 5,900,000. And of that figure, 2,700,000, or roughly 48% of the state's labor force, work for businesses that are defined by the SBA regulations as small businesses. So most of you out there either have or will work for a small business. And those of you who've done it know that when you work for a small business, it's a little bit different than working for a big company. So again, thank you for your interest. Next slide. Okay, we'll get programs to get started. And the next slide. A little background on the SBA. They're an agency of the federal government. We were established in 1953. And these figures here are financing during fiscal year 2020 and 1 million small business owners helped throughout the United States. On a national basis, there are 35 million small businesses in the United States. And we, on a national basis, account for 52% of the total labor force. Now, the three main areas that we are providing assistance in are counseling and training, capital access, and contracting. Now, in my presentation, I'm going to be spending most or all of my time on the counseling and training and the capital access area, because these are the two program areas that are open to both startups and to established businesses. The contracting programs will just casually mention them, but they require that you be an established and successful business prior to taking advantage of these programs. Next slide, please. The first of our major counseling programs is SCORE. That's an acronym for Service Corps of Retired Executives. What this is it says is a volunteer organization that will help you, again, decide what type of, how your business is. Once everybody has an idea of what kind of business they want to start, how they want to go about the business. And these counselors, they work free of charge, and they are able to give you an overview of what type of business skills are needed. And they maintain a skill roster to identify individual counselors, and they're volunteers. They will charge you. The only time you'll ever be charged is if they're doing a webinar or they're doing a workshop, and the charges for those workshops are generally in the vicinity of $25 to $125, depending on the type of workshop that they offer. And they could give any type of business service for people that want to get involved and start a business. Next slide, please. The Small Business Development Center, in terms of number of clients served, numbers of businesses created, this is the SBA's largest program. Such outfits as Chick-fil-A, Federal Express, GoDaddy, Little Caesars Pizza have all got started by going to this program and going through the training that is offered, which again is free of charge. And it's done on a one-on-one basis, and they could work either with startups or existing businesses to give you ideas of what to do as far as how to get your business plan organized, how to organize the operation of your business. And they can, it's direct one-on-one counseling to solve small business problems. And again, it's free of charge, and it's available either to a business who wants to start up or to a established business. In fact, the small business development centers are the source of much of the information that business owners have about IDES and the Department of Labor and the various other programs. They're very familiar with them and would help the business owner get started. There are 25 centers. They're scattered throughout the state of Illinois. We run them. The Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, which is another state agency, works with us, and we have designated, again, 25 of these locations around the state to help small businesses. And we, again, are having quite a bit of success with getting those particular areas going. Next slide, please. Veterans Business Development. One of my roles in the office is that I work with veterans who are interested in starting or growing small businesses. Basically, what I do is when a veteran calls up and tells me what their story, I will sort of prepare a roadmap for them to tell them which programs are most appropriate, how they can contact these programs, what services are available to get them started and get them running the particular business. Next slide, please. And the Veteran Business Outreach Center is another resource partner that the SBA has. And again, the Veteran Business Resource Center that serves Illinois is located in Milwaukee, but they do have employees here in Illinois that work with individual veterans who are thinking of starting or growing small businesses. So again, this is a very valuable resource for veterans that want to get started and operate their business. But again, you can work with a small business development center or SCORE. Next slide, please. Women's business ownership. We have the Women's Business Ownership Program. This is a program that is, again, gives information to women who want to run businesses. There's the the Women's Business Development Center. They have a location in downtown Chicago, but they also service men as well. So it's this year, 15% of the clients of the Women's Business Center were men, and we've had several success stories come out of that business program for people that wanted to get going and get starting with a small business. Next slide, please. Now, capital access. The Small Business Administration does not make loans. What we do is that we guarantee loans that are made by banks. So the process is that during the discussions with your banker, the banker would have to raise the subject of working with the SBA, and the application would be submitted by the bank to the Small Business Administration. We would, if it was appropriate, we would guarantee the loan, and the bank would then go ahead and make it. In the event that the business failed or there was some financial trouble, what would happen is that the SBA would pay the bank off under the terms of the guarantee, and then the business owner would become liable and have to pay the SBA back for the money that we paid the bank in the event that the business failed. Their maximum amounts under this program vary depending on the delivery method that's being used. Next slide, please. The general 7A, these are the general loan policies that be used. The proceeds of the loan could be used for almost any type of normal business use, buying and selling. The only two things that the SBA loan program and counseling program cannot be used for, it cannot be used for what is called passive investment. Example of that would be if you want to buy an apartment building and run an apartment building, and we won't use it, allow it for that. And another thing we will not work with are not-for-profit organizations. So if you wanted to open a, let's say, a homeless shelter or something of that sort, that would not be feasible under the SBA program. The interest rate ceilings, again, they vary with the delivery method chosen by the bank, whichever one they go to. The borrower must have good credit, and the credit history will be checked. Ask a question that usually gets asked at this time is, what about bankruptcy? Well, we've had instances in the SBA of where people have had bankruptcy, let's say like 8 or 9 years ago, and they were able to rebuild their credit. And the bank came to the SBA under the circumstances, discussed how they rebuilt their credit and rebuilt their situation. And in those cases, the SBA did not hold a bankruptcy against them. And again, this is an assignment for benefit of creditor sales or any type of thing. If the applicant can prove that the event was taken care of and they've rebuilt their credit, they can go forward. Again, the borrower and the principals, the people that own the business, must personally guarantee the loan, because you will, in the event of a default on the loan, again, we'll pay the bank off and then come after the business owner for the money. And again, it could be either a startup or an established business. Next slide, please. The express loan is one of the smaller loans that we have. This is the most popular loan program that the SBA has. This, again, you go through everything, you go through a bank, and the bank will decide what they want to do and how they want to do it. And this is basically what the SBA does and how we do it. Again, the turnaround time is very quick, and it can be done either as a term loan or as a line of credit. Next slide, please. Capital Lines program is another one of the guarantee programs. We bring this out because a lot of folks assume that the only type of loans that the SBA guarantees are term loans, and under this program and under the Express, we guarantee lines of credit as well. So this is basically available to a business that needs a revolving line or term line or any type of a line of credit. Next slide, please. And we have the microloan programs. Now, the microloan programs are through intermediaries. The type of situation that the microloan is designed for is the circumstance where folks have been working a business out of their home for a while, and they're starting to gain traction and get successful with it. And they decide that they need to get financing so that they could go out to a bricks and mortar, or if they have an e-commerce business that they want to expand it. They note some success. The microloan program is a possibility. The crucial type of thing to remember with a microloan is that the loans are only up to $50,000. And when they talk about intermediaries providing technical assistance, what that means is that a condition of getting a microloan here in Illinois is that you must become a client of a small business development center, and you must work with a small business development center to be counseled and trained on how to manage the business. And again, the only thing that this could be used for is the purchase of working capital or fixed assets, debt refinancing, and real estate purchases are not permitted. Again, there have been a couple of instances of folks who got out of prison for like 7 or 8 years ago, and they went to work and built up their savings, and then decided that the type of business they were in, they wanted to run it out of their home. And then they went through and used this particular program to get started, but that was a situation where they were able to again rebuild their credit and rebuild their background. Next slide, please. In the 504 loans program, this is commercial, long-term commercial loan for operating businesses. So again, inside, they have to be a for-profit business, cannot be a not-for-profit. Go ahead, next slide, please. And the surety guarantee program, this is a bonding program for folks in the construction business and for other types of government contracting activity. Next slide, please. And there's also programs to assist established businesses that want to go out and do exporting and sell their goods or services overseas, and they can work with the small business development centers or the international trade centers to get started. And this program is available for businesses that want to get started in that overseas area. Next slide, please. Now, government contracting. The Small Business Administration works with small businesses that want to bid on federal, state, and local contracts. The state of Illinois, the federal government, and larger entities like the city of Chicago or the Cook County have certain rules and regulations to the effect that they must make a good faith effort to work with small businesses when they're building up relationships with contractors. In other words, when they buy, for example, in the federal level, we have what is called the 23% law. And what that means is that any agency of the federal government must make a good faith effort to do 23% of their discretionary vendor purchases with small businesses. And over the last few years, I can say that all of the cabinet departments of the federal government have exceeded this 23% rule, because many of them are buying goods from various small businesses or services from small businesses. And again, states and cities have similar types of rules for veteran-owned businesses, women-owned businesses, small businesses, than government contracting. And this gives you an idea. But again, in the government contracting area, you have to be an established and successful small business before you even get into this particular area. Next slide, please. This is a Same program. This is the registration program that a small business has to go through to get involved with the procurement activity. And that again, dynamic small business search. They go through that. Next slide, please. And the contracting assistance program, subcontracting assistance program, certificate of competency program. These are programs that successful small businesses can use to bid and get government contracts. I worked in the certificate of competency program for about 10 years, and we had several situations that came up there where government agencies, federal agencies, I'm not talking state and local, we used that program so that a small business got the contract and worked with them instead of getting it to the big business that was going forward. So this allows the opportunity for, if you're a small company, to work with the Amazons and the Googles on various government contracts. And if they're forced to take you on as a subcontractor through this program, that's a possibility. Next slide. And then the minority small business. This is the 8A program. This again, we've been in business for a few years and they're kind of successful and want to get into government contracting and work with government contracting. This is available. But again, this is a bid program for established businesses that want to get in with the federal government and sell to the federal government. Next slide, please. And we're holding the class, the 8A orientation virtually, and we hope that it'll be able to go back online in a short while. So next slide, please. Hub Zone is another program. This is a program that gives benefits to businesses that are located in low to middle income neighborhoods in bidding on government contracts. A lot of businesses. This is a program. The federal program is particularly possible and popular among small businesses and communities like in Englewood or Garfield Park or that type of area. And again, this is a program that provides support to them so they can create jobs in low and underutilized business zones and distressed areas. Next slide, please. And this again, the type of contract that you get for the Hub Zone for the business. Next slide, please. And there's our contact information. If anybody wants any, give us a call or go to our website, either one, and we'll give you information about all of the SBA programs, or if you're working with somebody that is a business owner that wants to, in a small business and wants to get help, again, we're available to help to provide any support to a small business. So again, I want to thank all of you for your attention, and stay around here and ask any questions if anybody has any question. Yes, the question, this does apply to Illinois businesses. The way as far as the SBA program is concerned, I like to explain the way the organizational structure by saying that, think of it this way, that the Small Business Administration is like Ford, General Motors, or Chrysler. We're in the business of manufacturing, designing, and building cars. And around all of the states, in each state, we have what we call our resource network. And this is a reference I made here a while ago, the Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. The Small Business Development Center Network, the SCORE, these are part of the network. So to think of it this way, the Small Business Administration District Office in Chicago, we're like the Ford Assembly Plant on Torrance Avenue, whereas Small Business Development Center, they're like Al Pamani Ford out in Melrose Park. We're the manufacturer, the designer, they're the local dealer. So again, if you want to get the services, what you'll get from us when you contact us is, besides the description of the program, the resource networks that are near you and near the businesses that they can contact. Again, the banks right now, last year or in the last year that fiscal year 2020, we had over 100 banks here in the state of Illinois that use the guarantee program. And so it again is a program that is available. And again, you have to have good credit and have to work with it and get started in the program. And we also work with the VA through their vocational rehab department for veterans and various other types of programs. But that's basically it. Any other questions?
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for that presentation, Stephen. It looks like we do have a follow-up from that individual in the chat. Not sure if you would be able to answer that question.
Well, the answer to that question is the SBA is the way we're organized. You raise the question, and this gentleman is asking excellent questions because the two questions he raised we get all the time. The second question that he asked, as far as the SBA is concerned, if the business is headquartered in another state, the business owner has to go to the SBA district office in that state. So for example, to use illustrate a question that we get in the Chicago office quite a bit, is that people will contact us from Northwest Indiana or Southeast Wisconsin. And if somebody calls in, let's say they're running a business in Merrillville, Indiana, well, we've got to send them to the Indianapolis office because the resource network that's going to work with them is managed by my counterparts in Indianapolis. Similarly, if you're going to organize a business, let's say in Southeast Wisconsin and Lake Geneva or Kenosha, the Chicago office can't help you. You got to deal with our Milwaukee office. If you're going to be you're leaving Illinois and moving Florida or Texas, you got to deal with one of the district offices. The SBA's structure is very decentralized. We work with people in our particular state and in our particular area only. So if you were, like I say, that gentleman was saying, if he's talking about a business in another state, they're going to have to deal with the SBA office in that state. We can't help them here in Illinois unless the other state has a physical presence in the state and they have a certificate of good standing from the Secretary of State allowing the LLC to do business in Illinois. That would change the ball game, but that's what it'll take.
I have a question. Is a investment property considered a possibility for a microloan?
No.
Okay.
That was what I was referring to with passive income. That's another excellent question that gets asked a lot. The SBA rule on real estate financing for any of the programs, for the microloan and the others, is very simple. The property in question has to be used for the business. In other words, a good example is that let's say if you're buying a Culver's restaurant franchise.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Yeah, but if the business property is, if I put it this way, if the business property would be regarded as a tool of the business. What I was saying with Culver's is that banks like to use SBA with like Culver's or McDonald's or Subway. And part of this will get into real estate build out and real estate. But no, the answer to your question is that investment property, no. But if you own the property and you're turning it into a restaurant or you're turning it into a hotel or a gas station or some kind of a business where you will be hiring people and turning a profit and all the rest of that, then we're here to help you. But to just hire it for an investment, no way.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for that presentation, Stephen. I know we're kind of running short on time here today. So again, I just want to reiterate, I know we've mentioned this a few times, but this entire session is being recorded. So if there's any of this information that you want to go back to and refer to at a later date, again, I do believe my colleague David has put the link to our Illinois workNet YouTube channel, more specifically the virtual job fairs playlist in the chat. So take a look at that link there. And again, within 48 hours or so, this webinar will be uploaded to that location. So if there's any information that you want to refer to, again, from this session, you'll be able to do so at that time. Again, thank you so much, Stephen, for presenting. Much appreciated. David?
Thank you, Daniel. Good morning, everyone. My name is David Garvey with SIU Center for Workforce Development. I work with Illinois workNet. I wanted to provide a brief overview of the Get Hired website, and this can be reached up on the screen here by entering illinois.gov/gethired. And Get Hired Illinois is a web portal that's been designed to connect workers with available job and career training opportunities across the state of Illinois. And to go over what a few of these buttons link to, if you select the Job Seekers Click Here button, this will take you to the landing page for the job search on Illinois Joblink. Virtual job fairs here, that'll take you to a page on Illinois workNet of the virtual job fair tool. And here you can find which employers in Illinois are hiring by looking at their employer booth page. And you may also find upcoming events by selecting this VJF events button here. The online training opportunities button will take you to another page on workNet with training options that are available to you from community colleges to WIO approved training programs, other public and private programs, and apprenticeship opportunities. And below these buttons here, you may also apply for unemployment insurance and access additional resources through this page. And all the resources are free to use for job seekers and will remain accessible through this Get Hired Illinois page. And I also wanted to point out a page Illinois workNet has on this is Returning Citizens Guide, which you can access by visiting illinoisworknet.com and selecting this menu button, Updates and Help, and then Returning Citizens Guide. And this is what the guide looks like. And you can navigate through this guide by selecting the arrows here or selecting this drop down between the arrows. And all throughout this guide, there are article pages. All you have to do is click the Learn More button to learn more about that topic. And reviewing the slides we have for articles, we have what to do after your release, important personal identification documents, local resources to help you succeed, catch up on technology, top 5 things to know about expunging or sealing records, apply for jobs, interview for jobs, the first day on the job, and money management tips. Now, this guide is not comprehensive, but it does have a lot of helpful information, resources, and several organizations that can assist you along the way so you can make progress with your career. And one of the articles I do want to point out, just to quickly go over, is the local resources to help you succeed. If you select the Learn More button, this is what each article will look like. The local resources to help you succeed, just so you can get a sense of what's included on here, are organizations throughout the state for community mental health agencies, mentoring programs, healthcare, housing, food, Illinois workNet centers, where these are one-stop shops that workforce partners will help guide you no matter where you are in the job seeking process. You can find which workNet center is closest to you by using the Service Finder search. If you click that link here, that'll take you to our search page here, where you can learn more about which organizations are near you, and you can find their contact information, their address, and so forth. And you can also use some of these other filters to kind of refine your search through the workNet centers. But other organizations and resources near you, there's education, networking resources, and additional resources down here, some of which we've covered today: the American Job Centers, Illinois Joblink, the virtual job fairs. And so I just wanted to point out all that information here that is available through this Returning Citizens Guide on Illinois WorkNet. And with that, I will turn it over to Daniel for final remarks.
Thank you so much for that, David. And David, if I could ask you a quick question, if you could throw the link to that Returning Citizens Guide into the chat for folks, that'd be fantastic.
Absolutely.
Again, while we're waiting for David to do that, you'll also see that I have included a link again to that registration page for this event series. So again, just want to encourage you to be sure to register for tomorrow's session if you have not yet. That will be the session which will feature our hiring employers. Again, on that page, you'll be able to get a complete list of the employers that we do have. But nevertheless, I'll go ahead and name off who we'll have presenting tomorrow real quick for you folks. We're going to have Elior North America, MVP Enterprises, OSI Group, Reggio's Pizza, South Holland Manor, Flying Food Group, Verizon, CTA, and then we're going to have the CCWP, or Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, go over the construction initiatives program that they have available too. So again, please plan to register for tomorrow's event. And as we've been stating throughout the session here today, our session has been recorded. And again, David has included that link in the chat for you to be able to reach that playlist where the videos will be posted again within 48 hours. Again, we'd like to thank all of our workshop presenters here today. Thank you so much for carving time out of your busy schedules to share all this wonderful information with us today. Of course, all the elected officials and staff for bringing this idea to us to obviously hold and put on. And obviously a huge shout out and thank you to the Illinois Department of Corrections and the folks over there for, again, bringing this idea to us and helping make it materialize and become a reality. So thank you all. Again, thank you to the job seekers as well. We hope this is informative to you. And again, please plan to join our session tomorrow where you'll be able to meet with employers. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.